Hello, do you know what today is? Today is March 31st, which is the day in Yukiwari no Hana, one of my new favorite games, as it were, where the Kaori gets the present from Takashi, which sets off her memory. It is the day of fate, as it were, the Unmei no Hi in this game, which is why I made this video today. So this video is going to be mostly about Yukiwari no Hana, a little bit about Yarudora in general, at least the 4 ones on PlayStation. It is 4 games. It's made by Sugar and Rockets with help from Sony. They each take place in a season. They each have a girl with amnesia. The chronology of the seasons makes it Double Cast, Spring, Kisetsu Dakishimite, Summer, Sampagita, Fall, and Yukiwari no Hana, Winter. However, here is the official fan book, as it's called. This is first of all just a nicely illustrated book version of the game. It just kind of goes through the game with pictures from the game, and it's just really nice. It also has some illustrations from sketches from the creation side. And it has a little bit of behind-the-scenes interviews with the game creators. And they talk mostly about Yukiwari no Hana, which is kind of obvious, but they also talk a little bit about Yarudora in general, which I will mention. It also comes with, like it says here, it includes a CD-ROM. So I thought it was for computers, because that's what CD-ROM means to me. But the disc that is in here is actually a PlayStation disc, it turns out. It's the other kind of CD-ROM, I suppose. The CD there has, apart from the same, like the illustrations, artwork thing that you can also have actually in the book, it has the 5 good endings being downloadable, so to speak, to your memory card. So you can put in that disc and then put the good ending that you want on the memory card, and then look at the good ending. So if you weren't able to find all the good endings, that disc will help you out. One thing that I learned from this book was that Kisetsu Dakishimite was the first game that they made. The first game came out in 1998, but they started development in 1996. Kisetsu Dakishimite, that was, as I said, the first game that they were making, and that was subsequently the hardest game for them to make. Doublecast, developer says, went very smoothly. In Sampagita, they were being ambitious, they felt. They were trying to put taboos in there, although I don't remember that from my playthrough. I played all the games except for Kisetsu Dakishimite, by the way, because I thought that was just a regular-ass love story. But then I actually, like a week ago, looked up the synopsis, and the girl who is missing her memory was actually supposed to have died like 10 years ago or something, so that piques my interest. Maybe I'll have to give it a try now. Yukiwari no Hana was the last game that they made, and here they were feeling adventurous, the book says. As I think evident by the game, they were trying to go for the conflict between ethics and worldly desires, which is their quote, not mine, at least translated. And that, is like the game, because the main character he's in love with his neighbor. Her lover dies, she gets sent to the hospital, and she has memory loss, and then she thinks that the main character is her dead lover. So he has, of course, a perfect opportunity of just having her for himself. But that's not very ethical, is it? So I would say they got that across pretty well. In the beginning, those 4 games were actually going to be on one disc, believe it or not. So that's kind of surprising, being that they ended up making 4 games and they're each on 2 discs. So I guess their ambition kind of ran away with them, but I'm glad it did, because of these 4 games, I've played 3 of them. I liked, obviously, Yukiwari no Hana is my favorite. Doublecast I also thought was pretty good, which is about a girl who has memory loss, but then it turns out that she's schizophrenic. That's the double in Doublecast. Her other personality is like a man-hater who wants to kill men, and including the main character. That was pretty nice. In Sampagita, it's about this girl Maria Santos, I think. She was like from Brazil, maybe, or Portugal. I'm thinking Brazil, because there's a shady element. She's chased by like Yakuza and criminal organizations from whatever Portuguese-speaking country she's from, which is, you know, there's only Portugal and Brazil to choose from, really. So my guess would be Brazil. And that game is, I didn't come across the taboos. I just felt that was it's kind of good, but it was, you know, nothing surprised me that much. But then this one, leagues better than any of the others. But yeah, that's how I felt about it. A couple of the creators said that none of the characters here are based on any real people, which, you know, like game developers like to do that sometimes. Like, oh, we put this woman and we took the inspiration from this actress or whatever, but they didn't do that. They didn't do it with any buildings either. And what surprised me though is that they said that the town in here was mostly inspired by Hakodate in Sapporo. I was pretty sure it was Otaru, which it has a couple of locations lifted from Otaru, like the riverside buildings that are like that or whatever. Junichi Fujisaku was the director of Yukiwari Hana, and also Kisatsu Odakishimete. He was going to direct all four, but it turned out to be a little too much, so they had to split it up with other people. In this game, they made a lot of bad endings to illustrate how one small choice can have a big repercussion. Now, all the games in the series have bad endings, but this one has the most. This game has 5 good endings and 32 bad endings. The other games have also normal endings. They have good, normal, and bad. But this one is the only one that doesn't have any normal endings. It just has good and bad, and mostly bad. Doublecast has 4 good endings, 6 normal, and 17 bad. Kisetsu Dakishimite has 5 good endings, 4 normal endings, and 18 bad endings. Sampaguita has 3 good endings, 4 normal, and 20 bad endings. But as I said, this one has 5 good endings, 32 bad endings, and I'm going to talk about all of them. But first, the book actually says that they cut it down, for they were going to have 50 endings. I don't know if that means 50, like 5 good and 45 bad, or just 50 bad endings, but yeah, that's a lot. So it could have been worse, or better, depending on how you look at it. There's also a couple of ideas for the storyline that they ended up not using. And one was that Yuichi, the friend, he was embezzling money, and he had Takashi killed. And then, like, Kaori has she knows evidence, she knows what went down, but then she forgets about it, everything, and he doesn't want to hurt her, so he goes through, threatens you, the main character, instead. That whole thing actually reminded me of Ghost, the movie with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. So that's kind of interesting. Also because the theme song in this is Ghost Dance, so I don't know, ghosts. There was also an idea cut where Kaori was supposed to be the killer. She was supposed to have killed Takashi and then went into shock about it or something, and then lost her memory. So as she was regaining her memory, you, the main character, were in danger. So that's kind of interesting, although I'm kind of glad that they didn't turn her into a villain in any scenario, so still interesting to read about. Okay, now for the endings. First, the good endings. Good ending number 1, Yukidoke, melting snow. This one ends with Kaori and the main character in the apartment. He's studying for some test or whatever on his college, and then they're being friendly with each other. Then the friends, Kenta and non-something Hiko, I forget what his name was, they come to the apartment because they are very interested in finding out who your new girlfriend is, pretty much. And they are like banging on the door, and they want to come in. He's acting all like, oh no, I can't let them see us together or something. And then she is like, she calls him a Paka. I think this seems to have the implication of, because he's like, oh no, we're not together like that. And being that she reacts like that, I think it's supposed to be like, yeah, she does like him, but he's too stupid to realize it or whatever. He's immature, he's too young, and all that kind of stuff. So, it's not my favorite ending, but it's not bad. Honestly, it's a little better than the second good ending, which is called Tasugare, Twilight or Sunset. In this one, Kaori, I think it's a year after the end, when she gets her memories back, she waits until the main character has quit or completed college, and now they're moving away because she wants to get distance from the sad memories and everything. And Yuichi is helping them pack. And in this one, she's clearly in love with the main character, and they kiss. So basically, this is the happy they end up together ending. And it doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't quite sit right. So it's nice, but this is I don't think he should end up with her. So that it's not my favorite ending. Good ending number 3, however, Yukiwari So, or Snowflower, whatever. That is my favorite ending actually, and it's the one I got on my first playthrough. Now, what is really interesting with this one is that it's not in the book. Well, it is listed on the good endings list, but in the actual, like with the illustrations and everything, they show all the other 4 endings, but not this one. And when you get a bad ending, it shows the picture from this good ending, where they go, after she calms down or whatever, she goes to Takashi's grave, and the flower that bloomed with the main character and he gave her, she buries that at his grave. She gave the flower to the main character thinking he was Takashi, so it was a gift from her heart to her boyfriend, not to this main character. So her planting the flower at his grave is like it's a sign that she still loves Takashi. And I think that was how it was supposed to be. So I think that it's like a little bit more of a somber ending. Not that much happens, but I like it. I think that's how it's supposed to be. Good ending number 4, Tabidachi, like setting out on a journey or whatever. This one is a little special just because it's connected to the Miyuki sub-story or whatever. When you beat the game for the first time, it basically unlocks this bit of an expanded storyline. And this introduces Miyuki, which is Kaori's friend and Yuichi's little sister, and it introduces a triangle drama into the game, which I guess it happens a lot in Japanese storytelling, but I don't think I'm a huge fan of it. So Miyuki was in love with Takashi, and Yuichi also had feelings for Kaori, although I don't think that ever goes anywhere. It just says that in their little relationship chart thing that also Japanese people like to do. In that whole storyline, you enlist Miyuki into trying to figure out what is the significance of the March 31st date, which in the regular playthrough you just wait and see what happens pretty much. And she, instead of helping you with that, basically she says that she slept with Takashi at one point. And she's in love with him, and okay then, I didn't know that. But then actually when it gets to the rooftop where Kaori is about to consider jumping off, she actually tells her that no, it was like Takashi only loved you, and like, why do you always get the good ones? So apparently she was lying with the whole I slept with Takashi thing, which is good, I think. And then in the actual ending, they basically just you meet her at the airport, and she's like, well, maybe Kaori doesn't want to talk to me right now, but then she actually shows up and waves to her, and then you basically just look at her when she flies away with the plane. She's moving to United States. So yeah, that ending is very connected. You have to play that other story branch to even get to that ending, so it doesn't just appear otherwise. The whole Miyuki thing, I could take it or leave it, but at least she has a good music theme to go with it. The 5th good ending, Ninengo no Haru, or Spring, 2 years later, it is where the major branch in the game is where you dump Kaori at the cafe, and basically she dislikes you after that. She still dislikes Takashi, but then 2 years later you are starting to work at Yuichi's company, and then you're at the cafe where you met him earlier, talking about starting work. Yuichi tells you that Kaori has regained her memory on her own time, and then she comes to the cafe sporting a new hairstyle and smiles at you. So basically that is you didn't want to do it, you didn't want to dump her, it hurt her feelings at that time, but it was in the end good for her. And then it leaves the door open to if she just forgives you, if she has romantic feelings, whatever. It leaves it open for interpretation. But I think that was a kind of a nice ending. My ranking of the endings, I think, would be 3, 5, 1, 4, 2. I don't really like that I don't think they should, main character and Kaoru should not end up as a romantic couple in the end. Now then for the bad endings, and there's a lot of them. The first bad ending, suimin, or sleep, it's one that I got during my first video about the game. It's basically where you just don't open the door to the cops that are ringing your doorbell or banging on your door. You're just like, no, I'm too tired, I want to sleep. And then you just experience nothing. Nothing happens, you just go back to sleep. So, yeah. Bad ending number 2, taishutsu, leaving. This is where you, at the hospital, just ask Kaori point blank, like, who's Takashi? Like, at this stage you don't really know anyway, so you just ask her. And then she remembers who he was, and she falls back into coma again. She survives, but then the doctor tells you to get out, pretty much. Bad ending number 3, Okujo no Higeki, or Tragedy on the Roof. This is where she asks you who you are, and you just honestly say, I'm your neighbor, and then she remembers, like, oh yeah, my neighbor. Oh yeah, my boyfriend. Ah! And then she jumps off the roof and dies. Bad ending number 4, Tabako no Nioi, smell of tobacco. Here you hug Kaori, but she doesn't smell tobacco on your clothes or whatever, and then, because Takashi was a smoker, that leads her to understand that you're not Takashi. And that's about it on that ending. Bad ending number 5 is kind of funny to me. It's koibito toshite, as a lover. After she falls into the coma, you just tell the doctor that I'm gonna act as her lover, and then he gets angry at you for, like, why would you do such a thing? And then he kicks you out, like, get out of here, don't come back. And you leave. So bad ending number 6, shokudo, dining hall. You sit in the cafeteria with Kaori, and when she says that you don't smell of tobacco like Takashi usually does, to get past this you basically say that, well, you don't, smoking's not allowed in the hospital, so I haven't today. But then if you just say, which is honest at this point, like, no, I don't smoke and I never did, then she realizes that you're not Takashi, and that's it. But one funny thing before this, though, is that when you're drinking your cup of coffee with 2 hands, she says that you kind of look childish doing that, and then the main character, like, speaks like a child, which I thought was kind of funny. That unrelated but funny. Bad ending number 7, Komaru. It's if you remove the bird cage with the bird from her apartment. She wonders where it is. She remembers that there used to be a bird there, and that you, the neighbor, helped get the bird back at one point, and then she remembers, oh shit, you're the neighbor, and that's it. Bad ending number 8, Denwa, telephone. This happens if you don't remove the telephone from her apartment, upon which point Yuichi calls and asks, like, where are you? And then, oh yeah, Takashi died, how are you holding up or whatever, and then she, remembers everything, and game over. Bad ending number 9, Shashin, photograph. This is where the photograph of her and Takashi you have to remove, obviously, but instead of just getting rid of the frame altogether, you put in a picture of yourself, which leads to her reminiscing about the photograph, and then she remembers Yuichi, and she remembers how Yuichi told her about Takashi's death, and then it's game over. Bad ending number 10, Ijipari, stubborn. This one's kind of stupid, actually, because this is where Yuichi tells you that you have to start smoking if you want to act like Takashi, and then you just refuse, because, like, no, that is one thing I cannot do, it's to smoke. And then Yuichi is like, well, then I guess you're not the man for the job, I'm just gonna tell her, and then the game just ends. In a way, that is the weirdest one, since just the one where you just fall asleep. I just like, why would you even respond like that? But bad ending number 11, Gaito no Sobade, by the streetlights. This is where you're by the streetlights and Kaori wants a kiss. But instead of kissing her, you just like, I can't keep up the charade anymore, I'm leaving you or whatever, and then you just run away. And it's not like when you dump her at the cafe, which actually leads to, like, a good ending. This one just has the game end. Bad ending number 12, Tanjobi, birthday. Kaori takes up a birthday when you're at the port or the harbor, and you think that she means her own birthday, which she didn't mean. She meant your birthday, aka Takashi's birthday, and that gets her suspicious, and then she realizes that you're not Takashi. Bad ending number 13, present. You get the snowflower from her as a present, but then you, kind of like the streetlight one, you're like, I can't accept this, and then you admit everything, and that's the end. Bad ending number 14, Konran, confusion. This is after the whole birthday date thing. Yuichi comes to check up on you, and you decided to, at this point, you for some reason decided to really act like Takashi. So you talk to Yuichi as if you're playing a role and like talking all different, and he gets all like, what?
おい、君大丈夫か？
僕が？
随分とやつれてるじゃないか。それに様子がおかしいぞ。
様子がおかしいだと？バカ言え。俺は俺だ。
何を言ってるんだ。しっかりしろよ。
だから俺はタカシでお前はユウイチだろ？違うか？君じゃない。俺はタカシだ。伊達タカシだ。
なんてこった。
And then it just ends. And honestly, I don't know why it ends, because it's not like Kaori saw it, or it's just that Yuichi gets all freaked out, and that's the end. I don't know, kind of a funny ending to me. Bad ending number 15, Kodoku, loneliness. This is basically the same as before, but instead of acting strange, you are kind of depressed at this point. You don't want to talk to Yuichi, so you're like, go away. And then you, when you open the door, you basically tell him to get the hell out, angrily. And then Kaori apparently heard that. She opens the door and looks at you two, and then she just realizes that, oh, you're actually the neighbor, not Takashi. Not exactly sure why, but yeah, you shouldn't have done that. Bad ending number 16, Hayasugita Denwa. Call too early. This is connected to the whole Miyuki storyline. She's supposed to call you to give information about March 31st, but you call her instead, but it's apparently too early or something. It's the wrong time to have called her. She's already gone to bed, which would indicate too late, but whatever. You just don't get her on the phone, and you don't get to know, and then stuff goes bad. Kaori finds out that you're not Takashi, etc., etc. Bad ending number 17, Yonaka no Denwa, call in the night. This is basically exactly the same as ending 16, where you call Miyuki, but you don't get an answer. And yeah, this one is kind of superfluous. Bad ending number 18, Yuki no Hi, snow day. This is where you dump Kaori at the cafe, which is like a big branching point. You tell her that you want her to regard you as dead, which is, like the main character knows he's dead, obviously. So that makes Kaori put two and two together, where she's like, Takashi? Dead? Oh my god. And game over. Bad ending number 19, Minami, south. It's the same, you dump her at the cafe, but you say that there's a lot of good men out there, trying to be nice, basically. Then it flashes forward to you talking to Yuichi at the cafe, the other cafe, I guess. So it's kind of like good ending number 5, although Kaori never shows up. Yuichi instead tells you that she married the son of the doctor that admitted her in the beginning of the game. And they're going to move to Kyushu, which is south, very south of Japan, and run his medical office together. Good for her, I guess, but not good for you. Bad ending number 20, Tobo, escape. You're going to dump Kaori for her sake at the cafe, but you get cold feet and you just take a boat out of there instead and just run away, pretty much. And you take the coward's way out and just hope that everything goes well. Bad ending number 21, Dokue, where? This is basically the same as usual, but instead of Yuichi coming to the apartment to help you or whatever, you get a call from Miyuki. You're about to give up, but Miyuki gives you a bit of a pep talk, and then you go to the hospital roof, but Kaori is not there. And that's the end. Bad ending number 22, Omoide no Basho, place of memories. At the regular ending, you go to look for her at the port instead of the hospital, and she's not there, and that's the end. Bad ending number 23, Hitori de Sagashite, search by yourself. Basically, you just, instead of, when you go out the apartment, Yuichi's not there yet, and you just go looking for Kaori by yourself, and you fail. Bad ending number 24, this is a slightly disturbing one in a way. The name is Takashi. You get to the hospital roof, however, Kaori has already jumped off. She survives, but you visit her in the hospital, and then she thinks you're Takashi again. So it begins again.
優しいのね、たかし。
Gives me a little bit of a chill, actually. Bad ending 25, Hayasugi Daharu. You get to the roof, she looks at you, jumps off and dies. Bad ending 26, Refrain. She jumps off the roof and dies. I have no idea why it's called Refrain. To me, this is exactly the same as the last one. Maybe it's kind of a joke, like the second verse same as the first. Bad ending 27, Akumu, Nightmare. She jumps off the roof and dies. The only difference really with this and the other ones is that earlier the flower you had withered instead of bloomed. Bad ending 28, Hiretsu, Despicable. She does not jump off the roof in this ending. However, you kissed her before, and she feels that you took advantage of her. She never wants to see you again. Get out of my life forever. So earlier you had kissed her during the street light there. It's also that the birthday thing where she wants to get hugged by you. The game always uses the kanji daku or idaku, which means embrace. I remember doing that in my translation, but I'm pretty damn sure that between the lines that means sex, because this is a game about adult subject matter. So if you had sex with her, that's bad. When she then realizes that you had sex with her, she doesn't care about the extenuating circumstances or whatever. You're a bad person. Understandably. Bad ending 29, Kekkon Yubiwa, wedding ring. Instead of giving her the snowflower on the roof, you give her Takashi's wedding ring. And she just decides to join him in the afterlife, so she jumps off and dies. Bad ending 30, Arigato, thank you. She forgives you, but then she just becomes depressed and says, it's gonna join Takashi in the afterlife, so she jumps off and dies. So it's just a slight variation of the suicide death. Bad ending 31, Takashi no Omoide, Takashi's memory, or memory of Takashi. She doesn't jump off the roof, she decides to live with the memory of Takashi with her. However, she moves away to somewhere else in Japan and you never see her again. Finally, bad ending 32, Kaori yorimo hayaku, even earlier than Kaori. This is just an ending where you just get to the roof and she's not there. Maybe she was going to go there, but then you came too early, so she's gone somewhere else. You have no idea what happened actually. It's pretty unfulfilling, but yeah, that's the last one on the ending list. So as you can see, with all these endings, there's a lot of death, there's a lot of sadness, there's a few slightly comedic endings, like the one where you sleep, like the one where you refuse to take up smoking for her sake. The one called Takashi where she jumps off but then gets the exact same thing happens again, that one's kind of creepy. I love this game, love the story, love the art. I also love the music made by Ryome Shirai. This has really good guitar work. It's very somber, very nice. And when it comes to music, of course I like music from like Mega Man and Mario and Castlevania or whatever. But when it comes to like music that's like really, really good in like a different classical, more artsy way or whatever, my two favorites are actually Yukiwari no Hana and Rule of Rose. That has a bunch of violins. This has a very somber, very emotionful guitar. So that guy did good work. So that's Yukiwari no Hana, that's Yarudora. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm out. Bye.